Hey, welcome to another 5 Minutes with Harold Feld, where we take incredibly boring, insanely complicated things and try to make them slightly less boring and slightly less complicated because this stuff is important. Today, we're going to go crash a party. We're going to go crash Hollywood's special party with the U.S. Trade Representative. Yes, I know that sounded really boring already, but trust me, this is important. Every year, the U.S. Trade Representative is supposed to come up with a list of countries that are not protecting our intellectual property. Now, the real problem in the past, which was kind of the big thing that Congress wanted us to get to on trade, was the people who were knocking out the counterfeit Louis Vuitton handbags by the ton, the people with the big warehouses who were knocking out the fake DVDs that folks sell, 3 for $10. All of these things that are real problems that cost American business a lot of money or have health consequences like fake medicines, where we understand we're in favor of enforcement on these sorts of things. But the USTR's Special 301 process, which is what this is called, has become something else. A small section of the industry that's involved in the entertainment business has decided to use it over the years, and they've been very successful at using it over the years, to slowly ratchet up other people's laws and what they're supposed to be doing in terms of copyright and copyright enforcement and expanding copyright well beyond any kind of balance that we have here in the United States. In the last few years, the USTR has put countries on the bad list for things like having a fair use exception, for things like having laws that allow you to make backup copies of software because the country in question didn't specify only one backup copy ever. We've pressed other countries to forget about what they think their priorities ought to be in their justice system and tell them that they ought to have special courts just for Hollywood so that these guys can go and drag people into courts in other countries over whether they've been downloading a copy of Star Trek or not. This has got to stop. It hurts us in our trade negotiations. It hurts us in our international standing because it's hard to have meaningful diplomatic discussions around trade issues and even non-trade issues when over here the U.S. Trade Representative is acting like a bully on behalf of Hollywood. We need to ratchet this back so that American inventors and innovators that enjoy the balance of fair use here in this country can sell their products and enjoy the benefits of fair use and appropriate balance and copyright in other countries as well. If we have services that we're offering or devices that we're building here that make use of fair use, such as time shifting, things like Slingbox that make use of place shifting, all these things that make the way we manipulate content, even these video cameras that allow us to capture content and download it to the internet without running it by some kind of Hollywood server first to make sure that it's not some kind of pirated material. All of these are things that make it possible for Americans to do business overseas. And one last point I want to make for those people who think, well, this is a problem for what we do in other countries, but doesn't really affect me here in the United States. Some of you may have heard that in Italy, some Google employees just got into trouble over some things that were uploaded to their site. Why? Because Google was hosting it and Italy decided that it violated Italian privacy law, even though these guys couldn't do anything to control it. If we ratchet up other people's copyright enforcement laws so that things that are fair use here in the United States, things that are perfectly legal to do for mashups, for creating content, for putting your own stuff up on YouTube, and we make those illegal in other countries, we are buying ourselves some serious problems, not just if we want to sell these things abroad, but even for what we do here at home. The internet is global, and allowing a small section of the industry to take over the U.S. Trade Representative process, the Special 301 process, and use it to push for their own agenda at the expense of the rest of us is something that can't go on.